After that adventure on the ice, one thing I definitely wanted was some new tires. So I bought them. But before installing the new tires, I want to set the alignment. Before the crash, I got it set pretty good. It would go pretty straight. Something must have gotten tweaked just the tiniest bit in that crash because it seemed it wanted to wander a little bit after that. So I'm going to try an alignment method I've heard of but never used before to try to get a pretty accurate setting. The first thing we're going to do is get the front tires off of the ground. So what we'll do is put some boards under the tires because this will decrease the friction and allow the wheels to rotate more easily as we adjust them. Next up, we'll loosen up the bolts on the adjuster sleeve so that we're ready to adjust things when necessary. Next, we need to make sure the steering wheel is as centered as we can get it. It would be ideal if you had a lock or some way to hold the steering wheel still for certain, but I'm just gonna kind of wing it here. If the steering wheel ends up a little bit off center later on, that's not a big deal. We don't have to set everything up again. So there are a bunch of different ways to set your alignment in the garage, but what we're going to use today is the string method. Basically, you take jack stands and use boards that are just a bit wider than the vehicle, and we'll put a nail at each end of these boards at equal distances. We'll put one of these boards behind the truck and one in front. We'll run string around all four nails and then set the string up so that it's equidistant to the back tires. Since the nails are at equal spots on each of the boards, we will have a relatively precise set of parallel lines that we will use to measure against the front and the back of each front tire and try to get all those distances the same. For this particular truck, we're going for just a bit of toe-in. So now we have our four corners and they're pretty squared up with each other. So one of these boards will go to the back of the vehicle and one will stay up front. I'll try to space it out pretty evenly just by eyeball for now. Now we can take our string and I'll wrap it once around each nail, and you could tie it together or something, but I'm just going to go ahead and staple these down. And we'll wrap it so it's coming around the outside of the nail. And bring it to the rear, wrap it around the rear nail. Since this board weighs less than the other one, I'm actually going to secure it with bungees. So using that string, now we have a nice set of parallel lines running the length of the vehicle. So now we want to square up these parallel lines. So going from corner to corner, I measured from the snout of the hub on each corner and inched everything around until that distance was the same front left and right and rear left and right. On a solid axle vehicle like this, by measuring at the front and rear of the rear tires, you can determine how straight the axle is. In this case, the axle is tilted a little bit to the right. When measured at the fronts of the tires, this came out to 0.10 inches. For the most part, there's no way to adjust that on a solid axle vehicle, so we won't be changing anything, but we'll keep that in mind. So now that the string is squared out between all the hubs of the vehicle, we know we have a nice, even rectangle. So now we'll measure the distance from the string to the front and back of each tire on the front. By zeroing the calipers in between the front and the rear measurements, it's easy to see whether it's toed in or toed out and exactly how much. So at the moment, this tire has a significant inward tilt of 0.28 inches. Interestingly, this tire also has the exact same inward tilt of 0.28 inches. That means there's a fair amount of toe in. To adjust this, you'll rotate the adjuster to shorten or lengthen the tie rod. Make sure you look at the direction on the threads so that you're turning it the right way. Once you have everything set, rotate the inner and outer tie rod ends so that they're both tilted in the same direction before you tighten the adjuster up. That way, the whole tie rod is allowed to rotate a bit when the suspension travels. To make sure everything is settled, I'm just gonna grab the front and back and twist it both ways. So all you're doing is measuring at the front and at the rear and turning that adjuster to lengthen or shorten the tie rod. Basically, it's a guess, check. So perhaps the easiest way to do it is to set the steering wheel where you want it. You adjust one side, make sure the steering wheel hasn't moved, then adjust the other side and keep checking to make sure the first side that you did hasn't moved from adjusting the second. This process takes some time, but it should yield good results. So now all that's left to do is to retighten the clamps on the adjusters and make sure the ball joints on the end of the tie rods have a bit of movement to them. Then the alignment is done and we're ready to get back on the road. So after that little disagreement with the wall, I decided it was finally time to get some new tires. The ones on there are at or beyond the end of their tread life and are pretty dry rotted too. I also wanted bigger tires and wider tires for more grip and just because it's what looks right. It's just the right thing to do, really. I was deciding between 32s and 31s, but I ended up finding a really good deal on these 31 by 10.5s, so I jumped on it. So I drove over, mounted them up, and then drove home very carefully because they get pretty close to the fenders. With a little bit of steering angle and a big enough bump, I'm sure they'd hit somewhere. They also do rub the frame in the back and the sway bar in the front when turned lock to lock, but they still turn pretty far before getting there, so I'm not too upset about that. And I'm definitely not surprised about it. I'd wanted to get a different set of wheels to push the tires out a little bit farther, but it's just not in the budget right now. The fenders, though, are a concern. The good thing is that the corners, there's just sheet metal, and I don't have to feel bad about cutting any off because it's all rusted to hell anyway. In fact, the back of the left rear is actually kind of gone already, so I don't have to cut that one. But for the ones I do have to cut, I'm going to make some templates and draw some lines and get the Sawzall out. I'm sure this will upset somebody, but I don't think it's going to be me. It really has to be done. So if anyone's like, don't you feel bad torturing this thing and just tearing it apart like that? This is why the answer is no. Little bit of rust in there. Okay, I think it's pretty good now. It's still possible it could rub right here on rough terrain on turns like this, but the thing might roll over before a little bit of rubbing is a concern, so I think we're good. After trimming the fenders, I applied primer to the bare metal to help keep it from rusting farther, and then made some little sheet metal patch panels to try to close up the gaps that I opened in the fenders. This helps with the visual appeal, but also will help keep water and mud from filling up the gaps in between the panels. And here is the finished product. I think it looks 10 times better with the bigger tires. The tread on them should do well both on and off the road. As far as I can tell, they ride quietly and seem to be made of quality materials. The width of the tires also really adds to the look of the vehicle. I'm going to double check on the alignment with these new tires, but I think it's okay. It still tends to wander sometimes, and I think it might need a bit more toe in. The closest I could find to a spec for that online would be 1/8 of an inch, but there are a couple of other parts I'd like to replace to get this to be a safer and more comfortable vehicle.